every year there's the Black Hat Conference, which is a conference of hackers, and joining them are FBI and CIA agents that are in disguise, and they do this every year, and they try and outdo each other, as hacking into things while the conference is going on. One year, a guy got control of the air conditioning, kept setting the temperature up and down. Another guy got into the online booking and found out who's staying with whom. The best one was this year when a guy arrived early and brought a fake ATM machine. And this ATM machine sat in the lobby, and you went up, you swiped your card, and you gave it your password, and then it would say out of order. And he had several hundred information on how to get into people's bank accounts.
And we have seen the claims here, in particular, there have been a number of large credit card breaches in the hotel space. One thing I would kind of lump into the same category, but it even adds more exposure, is casinos, because usually you've got all the hotel, but then you also have tons and tons of records on payouts. I think it's anything over, I want to say it was $1,200, but anything over a certain amount paid out, they have to retain that record for tax reporting purposes. So when we see a breach there, it's it can actually add many records. I think there's just a recent one with a horse track that I think was over 350,000 records that they were holding just for that tax purpose.
Hotels are actually one of the most hit industry. Just think about all of the information that they hold. You've got the franchisor, and then you've got the franchisee. And surprisingly enough to me, franchisees don't have cyber. They have indemnities for the franchisor, but they don't have cyber, and the franchisor is the one who gets the information because you book it through central reservations, and then it goes down to the franchisee level, and they get the credit card information and whatnot. So if the hotel gets hit, and think about it, you've got people working at the front desk who you don't know who they are. You hire them, but you don't know who they are, and they have access to all the information about all the people who are coming, who stayed, whatnot. They have Wi-Fi, and people can tap into Wi-Fi. You all have read about people just knocking into Wi-Fi. There's just so many intrusion points for hotels and hospitality industry. And it's surprising to me how few companies really have dedicated cyber or really understand the product.
We'll get a lot where they have a management company managing, 20, 30 different owners, hotels, and you have so many different systems and so many different controls in place that being able to underwrite it accurately become, aside from the fact that it's a target, then you have the additional struggle of underwriting because there are so many different platforms that these people are using on what they're trying to put on one policy.
Steve and I actually insure a high-end resort on the West Coast that had a breach scare through their credit card processor, and the credit card processor ended up backing it, but in mentioning credit cards, there's an important coverage you can negotiate called PCI compliance for the payment credit card industry, where you can negotiate a sublimit for any fines and penalties. And I believe everybody on this panel, carrier-wise, has the ability to offer this to you, if not on an admitted form, on their non-admitted form. So it's something to, you cannot forget that.
In healthcare, you have a dedicated and population. For instance, I just happen to know off the top of my head that the population of the Upper Peninsula of Michigan is 320,000 people. So that's the universe for healthcare. Okay, so if you have a hospital that's up there, that's pretty much the total except for the transients. On a hotel, what you have is a growing database. So there's a big difference between a set population and one that's a growing database. That's why carriers don't like credit card processors or folks that handle the conversation between HMOs and other people.
Credit card breach is completely different from a social security number breach or a medical breach, medical information breach. It takes you into the credit card industry. The liabilities are considerably greater. The business risks to the insured are considerably greater in the credit card industry than they are in the other two areas right now. And probably will remain. So you need to understand that sector of risk.